Welcome to the Carmine Dance Hall Antique Show. This event takes place during the Round Top Antique Show weeks. Stay tuned for the next event, which is Friday, October 23rd through the 28th. The folks have been waiting in line for first dibs on the deals. They know there are dealers that come from all over the country with their best wares. Lots of history represented here, and lots for us to discover today. Welcome to the Carmine Dance Hall Antique Show. This is a highlight during the Round Top Antique Show weeks with high-end antiquing. Such rich history with treasures we will discover today. Let's get started. There is history hiding around every corner. Many of these pieces have a story to tell. Some of these would have been used in fancy homes for entertaining. And this particular piece has the history written on the item. And the silver purveyor will tell us more about the history from 1863, made of American coin silver. It was presented to Mr. Walter Palmer for his 13 years serving on the board of directors of the Broadway Bank. Absolutely incredible. I'm pleased to introduce you to Virgil. He is a silver expert and will tell us all about this amazing compote and presentation piece.
Yeah, this particular piece was made in approximately 1863 by the Gore Manufacturing Company, and it was presented to a president of a bank that was retiring. And what makes it really interesting is all coin silver. And shortly after 1863, the U.S. standard became the sterling standard, which is 925 versus 900. And when you think about something this big and elaborate being made in 1863 at the height of the Civil War, it even brings it more into context how important they thought this gentleman was. This bank also handled all of the payroll for the city of New York. And so you would think that that would be a fairly important bank for the city and actually the country during that time.
Dessert, anyone? This is the most unique case for storing a dessert service. This was at a time when you had multiple pieces of flatware for a dinner service. Quite unusual to find so many pieces related to just serving a dessert. A sugar sifter, cake servers, tongs, a sugar shell, and lots of detail here. This was probably for ice cream. If we turn it over, we see the design throughout.
This is a French dessert set, and it was made by Boine Tabaret in Paris around 1900 to 1910. And it is, the detail is really superb on all French things. This particular set is first standard mark, which would make it 95% silver and 5% alloy. The gold would also protect it against the acidity of fruits and other things that they use for the desserts. And what you have here are, these are ice cream spoons, these are the serving spoons. And if you'll notice that the decoration and the initials are what we would consider to be on the back of this particular fork, but actually the French set the table upside down with it turned down.
Have you ever seen tree bark cloisonné? This is a rare Japanese decorative art technique where enamel is applied over ceramic earthenware or porcelain instead of the usual metal. We can see the exceptional workmanship with the butterflies, birds, and leaves. It's time for some silver finds. A sterling silver tea set is high on my wish list someday. And you may recall this set from a previous visit where I shared some of the history. And we'll see another exceptional tea set in just a bit. We also saw the modern version with the George Jensen on a previous visit. the tureen. Some of these were presentation pieces and also used for serving. And now let's discover the world of ornate and some of the modern designs inspired by the Art Deco era. This is a rather unusual set, something I have not seen before, and I'm always eager to learn about the artisans and what inspired them. This one has a connection to Austria. The complete coffee tea set includes the tea strainer. I like the simplicity of this set, as well as the rich detail here. This sterling tea set is a great example of Viennese modern, and it was designed by an architect and designer from Austria, Otto Pucha. He attended the Kunstgewerbeschule. They are known for their modern design. This is an exquisite set, complete with a tea strainer. We always want to turn it over and look for a hallmark, which tells us the manufacturer and the metal. This one is labeled 800, which is the 800 standard silver or 80% pure, common in Europe. This one also has a warmer or réchaud. I like to pick up serving pieces, whether it's this asparagus server that can also have many other purposes, or even a small sugar shell. Always fun to add that to your collection. And this is sterling silver. I can see this used for many different food items, unlike the Victorian era where there was a strict code that each food item had its specific server. We can use these interchangeably today. A bit of chinoiserie influence with this tea set. It is quite intricate with a bamboo handle on the teapot. Absolutely exquisite. This epergne would be wonderful in the center of your table. Absolutely love it. We also find some high quality silver plated items at the show. It's not only about the sterling silver. And this has quite a few vases from about 1895. Silver trays are always useful. And this is absolutely beautiful. Love the detailing. You'll see that grape motif that we often found in milk glass as well. This could be the base for a centerpiece. Silver baskets. These were often used for calling cards back in the day. I always try to pick these up when I find them affordably at resale shops. I did feature one in a birthday celebration and a tea at the Junior League of Houston, $295, and it's from 1895 in silver plate. A giant sugar shaker. I do have a collection of these. This would be a nice addition. We don't find these today. Perfume bottles, beautifully displayed on the mirror plateau. Some of these were later reproduced by the original perfume bottle company in England. I remember meeting them at the Dallas market and getting some samples, which I still use today on my vanity. Victorian perfume bottles were prevalent from 1837 to 1901. We see the combination of the craftsmanship with cut glass and sterling silver. These were often a status symbol with families and make a lovely collection. A pair of beautiful blue porcelain plates. This transferware tells a story, quite a unique shape and design from Doulton, Burslem, England. These are true antiques. If you're looking for a side table, this one is quite interesting, and as always, it has a bit of history and some great legs. Some noteworthy tables, including one that was made by Jennings and Bettridge. About 1890, they were makers to Her Majesty the Queen, and the top is hand-painted. It is made of paper mache. Let's take a closer look. Here's an overhead view of this lovely table that could add interest to your space. And if you're looking for a space saver with multiple tables, this one has quite a unique design. And you'll notice that it is brown instead of black, which is quite rare. With some interesting feet, I'll tell you more about it. These 4 nesting tables are quite unique. They are brown lacquerware. We usually see the black. These are from the late 18th century and have quite a personality. There's lots of interesting design, and you will notice the fish in the feet. Some Austrian influence with these finds. Looks like we have just stepped into a hunter's lodge. Some interesting frames and a collection of hand-painted oyster plates at a time when this was a popular hobby, using blanks made from Limoges and often Bavarian porcelain. Some beautiful crystal pieces. Some of these are from Val Saint Lambert. The ruby cut to clear is extra special. And we'll also find some cut crystal and sterling silver overlay, and the cut to clear hawks as well. I've shared the history in a visit to the Houston Junior Forum. It's quite interesting with that sterling silver applied to glass. Some great examples of American Brilliant cut crystal. This one happens to be signed. This was the golden era for the highly cut, deep prismatic American Brilliant crystal. It was prized by the wealthy and symbolized American luxury. We found American Brilliant made from 1876 to World War I, when lead was needed for the war effort, and we saw more EAPG early American pressed glass take over the market. This picture is a great example of American Brilliant and T.G. Hawkes, a company founded in Corning, New York in 1880 by Thomas Gibbons Hawkes. Most of the American Brilliant cut glass pieces do not have the logo and the manufacturer's information, but this one does, just below the handle of the pitcher, and the craftsmanship is unparalleled. The American Brilliant pitcher was once a status symbol for hostesses. It is rare to find the mark on American Brilliant, but occasionally you find that acid etch logo, sometimes even under the stopper of a cruet. And in this case, it probably would have been on both pieces. The most fabulous piece of American Brilliant that I've seen. This is a flared and square bowl. And you will see the number of cuts that increases the value. This would have been prized, would have taken many hours, made by craftsmen. And this particular bowl is from Higgins and Cider, made in New York. One of my favorite discoveries at the show. Punch cups. There is so much you can find with American Brilliant. Lots of detail. Another square bowl. I'm loving this shape. Copper molds were often used in kitchens of the big houses. And you'll notice the attention to detail that carried through with the desserts. I can see this displayed in a kitchen straight out of Downton Abbey. The brass frames and mirrors. Wonderful way to curate your space. And we find Waterford Crystal. $65 is a great price for this vase. Absolutely love it. There's a lot to discover here, including Wedgwood Jasperware with this biscuit barrel and the lavender, priced at $2.95. EAPG Early American Pattern Glass is well represented with these cake stands. One of my favorite finds. I always like to pick these up. And some have some rich history. You can always use Google Lens to identify, and maybe even you find some of the collector's books that show the patterns. This one is from Campbell and Jones from 1871. Love it. Cake stands are practical, purposeful, and highly collectible. This is a great example from Campbell Jones and Company from 1871 with the grape design. It is called Current. What is unusual about this for its era is it's rather wide. This large cake stand can be enjoyed in your space with a cloche on top with something interesting inside. Of course, use it to serve cake and pastries, and you can also stack these. I always pick up these EAPG cake stands when I find them for under $30. What a deal. Great for gifting and much better than what you find retail. This decanter is a great example of flint glass. It's brilliant, quite heavy, with a diamond-like clarity. Flint glass refers to English and American glass made with lead oxide from 1820 to about 1865. Priced at $125. Lots more treasures here with silver-plated tea services. And we also find some Belleek, which is Irish Perry and China. I've shared the in-depth history. It's still good consignments. My friend Amy collects this for her daughters. Made in County Fermanagh, Northern Ireland. You can research those back stamps to determine the era and the manufacturer's date. Lots more American brilliant. And remember, if you find the maker's mark, it increases the value. And the more cuts you have in the space also means that it is worth quite a bit more. That's a sweet size. Sterling silver. There's so much we can discover here. I like to learn from the dealers. They're always happy to share. And in previous visits, we have talked about these paperweights from Clichy, Saint Louis, Baccarat. If you ever see these at a thrift store, you want to pick it up. These are worth thousands. And there are lots of collectors out there willing to pay. These porcelain plates are quite interesting. A rare find with a set of hand-painted and custom-made Capodimonte plates. These are not the Capodimonte that you probably find today, made in Italy. These date back to 1870, with the factory having its roots in the 1700s. You will notice the armor in the middle, that it's been hand-painted, and such rich detail, vibrant colors. If we turn it over and look at the back stamp, we see that N with the crown that is the Napoleon factory. And we find a companion piece. This is great for symmetry if you're hanging these on the wall. I can hardly believe this huge piece of Majolica from George Jones, priced at $1,650. It's an umbrella vase, and it has an interesting detail that you might not expect. And it's actually quite hard to see. It has some staples. It's been repaired, which surprisingly increases the value. We all need a Majolica umbrella stand. This is a fantastic find made by George Jones. He got his start working for Minton and later Wedgwood. By 1865, he was producing his own Majolica at Stoke-on-Trent. This one is interesting because it has a repair, which is quite historical, and lots of collectors look for this. The repair is done so well that it is quite hard to find. You will see that right here, and that's something that we often see in platters. I have not seen it on a Majolica umbrella stand. Quite a find. And George Jones was known for the flora and fauna with a nod to botanicals. Majolica was made by German, Austrian, English manufacturers. I've shared the in-depth history with a huge collection at Nothing Ordinary Antiques in Belleville. I'll have to go back there soon and pay them a visit. They always have some fun finds. A candle holder. I'm not seeing a maker's mark on this one. Heron. You probably recognize this, made in Hungary. Some very popular patterns. The Rothschild bird. And there's that beautiful back stamp. These are hand painted. This épergne would be a fantastic centerpiece. Could fill this with fruit, flowers. Great for serving. Price at $65. Wouldn't that be nice for tea time? If you're looking for a gift in that price range, that's something a hostess or host would appreciate. Another stunning centerpiece with this épergne. You'll see the cut glass and silver plate. Would be perfect for a party or a wedding. There is so much to see here. Candlesticks, centerpiece bowls. You never know what you will find, along with some interesting history. I'm always looking for things in the original box. We'll have to find out more about this set, and you'll notice the pagodas, it's got some chinoiserie influences.
Anytime you see a set that is in a custom case, that means two things: quality and craftsmanship, and it has been well cared for over the years. This youth set has all the elements that we like with a bit of chinoiserie. All the essentials in this youth set: knife, fork, spoon, and cup. It features the blue willow design with that chinoiserie styling. It is made in the 1880s in England. It is silver plate. Perhaps it did not belong to the elite class, but clearly upper middle class. It is well cared for and well priced.
A silver tray is a great addition to your collection. My friend Mark is looking for a large round silver tray. He's shopping with me today, and I think he's going to take this one home, priced at $150.
A large silver tray is a great investment piece. You can use this in many ways for serving, the base for a centerpiece. I've even seen silver trays used as wall hangings. This one is footed, has attention to detail, and it is from England. EP&S with the crown as part of the hallmark. It is priced at $150, which is actually quite a good deal and a great find today.
$55. Another original box, a set of 8 English sterling spoons, priced at $225, which is very reasonable. Rather plain on the front, and you'll see the detail on the back side. And they're each just a bit different. There is so much of interest in this case. I don't know where to start. Looks like trophies, even a toast rack, which is ideal for mail. Don't forget that when you're out thrifting and antique shopping. And even some porcelain pieces with Imari influences. This one has some vibrant colors. Let's turn it over. We learn a lot about it from the seller. It is from Mason's Ironstone from 1831 to 1848. Here's one of those toast racks. Remember that if you're looking for a stationery holder or for important mail, Christmas cards, priced at $125, and silver plate. This is a surprise find. It is Jugendstil, or Art Nouveau, a very familiar look. Let's turn it over. It is from Mettlach, from Villeroy und Boch, made in Germany. This is a true antique. And it's in pristine condition. The colors were typical of that era. Let's have a look at some jewelry. Cameos are coming back in style. And just because it's something old doesn't mean it has to be old-fashioned. It's all in how you showcase this, present it on a black silk cord. These are fantastic. Estate jewelry is my favorite. I much prefer this over newer pieces. We see the Art Deco influences with some of these rings, and oftentimes we find it in white gold or platinum. A bit unusual to find yellow gold. This is probably what you've seen before.
And you find much better prices, quality and craftsmanship, and I love that these are sustainable, often with European cut diamonds.
We saw Art Deco jewelry from 1915 to 1935. It's characterized by geometric shapes and filigree, sometimes a contrasting color with a sapphire or ruby. And the style is something we don't see in new jewelry today. I find that the quality and craftsmanship is quite unique and rather affordable on the secondary market.
Younger generations are embracing estate jewelry. They are looking for something more affordable and stylish for engagement rings. I'm loving this one. It is simply gorgeous. Wait for it. We are off to the races with a French game from 1910. Isn't that fun? I see some teacups. In a previous visit, we found a huge collection of Shelley. And I do see some here as well. I like to collect teacups, although I must admit my cabinet is getting a bit full. It's also nice for a ladies' luncheon to present an antique or vintage teacup at each place setting. This is a familiar one from Shelley, priced at $38. I've hosted many showers with friends where that was the table favor. A collection of quilts. These are sought after. And I see a crazy quilt. My friend Judy has one that she has displayed for years. This is such fun. And let's have a look at the price. Not bad. $150 for this crazy quilt. An interesting and vibrant collection of flower frogs. You could use these for other purposes, maybe as a pencil holder, decorative object. And these are great price points. And who knew? There's also an owl. This would be a nice collection to start. And made in Germany, priced at $85. We've seen so many wonderful finds at the Carmine Dance Hall Antique Show, and I've had fun with my friend Mark. It's been a great day.
So glad you joined me today for the Carmine Dance Hall Antique Show. We found lots of treasures, all with a bit of history. One of my favorite finds is the Reed & Barton Francis I sterling silver tea set. Thanks again for joining Lady Mary Beth. Elevate your everyday with antique shopping.